Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Steven, back with another video. Today's video, we're gonna be diving deep into the second wave of free agency. We have a lot to talk about. We have Deshaun Watson going to the Cleveland Browns. We have Matt Ryan going to the Indianapolis Colts. Tyreek Hill being traded to the Miami Dolphins for 5 picks. There's a lot to get into, but before we get into the video, don't forget to smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, turn those post notifications on, and let's jump into the video. Cue the intro. So first, let's talk about this Deshaun Watson being traded to the Cleveland Browns. Look, before I talk about Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield, I don't even see him as a starting quarterback. I'm not even going to lie. This man is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. I know that's a little harsh to say, but Baker Mayfield is not a great quarterback. And honestly, I'm not surprised that there's not a lot of team that's wanting Baker Mayfield. If I'm the Browns, I'm going to just cut him. Because if I cannot find any trade value for Baker Mayfield, which I'm not surprised they aren't, I'm going to just release Baker Mayfield. Because to let us be quite frank with you, bro, he's a bust. He would tell me coming out of that college year of 2018, I thought the Browns should have went with either Josh Rosen or go ahead and take Lamar Jackson. So they went with Baker Mayfield, you know what I'm saying, the come up kid or whatever. Now looking back, they probably wish they had Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. So Baker Mayfield, a complete bust. Now back to Deshaun Watson. Cleveland has everything you can need to be a Super Bowl caliber team. They have one of the better O-lines, probably the top 10 O-line in football. Okay, you have Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb in the backfield. And then you just traded for Amari Cooper. Now, if they can draft a receiver in the mid-rounds to pair him up with Amari Cooper, or maybe, hey, hear me out. Maybe you call up Odell Beckham Jr. You're playing with Deshaun Watson. Maybe he will be down to come back to Cleveland just because he's playing with Deshaun Watson and not trash ass Baker Mayfield. Or you can go out, maybe try to sign Julio, or maybe try to go out and sign maybe AJ Green, Marquise Goodwin. Maybe get like a solid number 2 wide receiver to pair him up with Amari Cooper. So. And then look at the defense. You have Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Greedy Williams. Like, they have a solid enough defense. Overall, the Browns have a really solid roster. And now that you add Deshaun Watson into that mix, the Cleveland Browns are definitely going to be playoff contenders. I believe we all know when Deshaun Watson is on the field, he's a top 5 quarterback. No questions asked. So if they can get the ball rolling in Cleveland is going to have a hell of a next decade with Deshaun Watson. And then can we talk about the AFC North? The AFC North is loaded. You have Joe Burrow. You have Lamar Jackson. You have Deshaun Watson. Then, obviously you have, Mitchell Trubisky. No disrespect to him, but the AFC North is loaded. They're one of the more tougher divisions in football. Coming out of the AFC North is going to be a grind for any of those 4 teams. So next, I want to talk about Tyreek Hill. Recently, a couple hours ago, he was traded to the Miami Dolphins. Now, I am so surprised by the Chiefs just deciding, we'll trade him. They didn't even try to... Even though talk stalled, you would think they would try to put more effort into, give Tyreek Hill that extension. They traded him to the Miami Dolphins, grabbed a couple picks, a first, a second, a third, a fourth, and I think they got a 6th next year. So the Dolphins just bolstered their offense 100% because now you have Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. Now you have third-year quarterback Tua, who's going to be 100% healthy. I mean, Lord, that Miami offense is going to be explosive. The Chiefs might not make the playoffs next year because the AFC is loaded with teams. You have the Browns, the Bengals, you have the Raiders, the Bills, Denver, the Colts, New England, Chargers, the Ravens, Tennessee. Like, you have all of these teams, and the Chiefs roster is getting weaker and weaker. So I don't know why they just let Tyreek Hill walk like that. They must believe in Juju Smith-Schuster to be their number one wide receiver, because you don't let a talent like Tyreek Hill just walk away like that. So this is great for Tyreek Hill. I think this is going to be perfect for Tua. This is going to really show as Tua that franchise quarterback that the Miamis hope that he will be. Now let's talk about Marcus Mariota and Atlanta and Matty Ice. Marcus Mariota signed a 2-year deal with Atlanta. This is a solid deal. We don't really know. I don't really think he's their long-term plan. Now, if Marcus Mariota have like a MVP caliber season or just a really, really great season, maybe he can be the franchise quarterback in the long-term deal for the Atlanta Falcons. But Atlanta trading Matt Ryan to the Indianapolis Colts is a game changer for the Colts, because Matt Ryan, I've always felt like he's been one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league. Okay, he won an MVP, even though I don't think he deserved it that year. I feel like Julio should have won it that year. You have Matt Ryan, who's an MVP caliber quarterback. Now, is he prime Matt Ryan? No. Is he an upgrade over Carson Wentz in your previous quarterback? 100%. And this Colts roster has everything you need, because if you look back in that 2017 season, Matt Ryan had a great O-line. He had a 1,000-yard rusher, and he had a number one receiver. What do the Colts have? You have Jonathan Taylor. You have one of the best, if not the best, O-line in football. And now have an elite defense like the Atlanta Falcons did in 2017. This is a perfect roster for Matt Ryan to try to compete and try to go back to the Super Bowl and actually win it this time and not blow it for that 28-3 lead. And back to Marcus Mariota, I think this is going to be great for Marcus, because if he can revamp his career, he won't really be labeled as a bust, because Marcus Mariota never was really given a fair shot in Tennessee. Because if you look at his years there, every single year he was getting a brand new head coach. Every single year he was getting a brand new offensive coordinator. There was never stability in Tennessee when Marcus Mariota was there. And when he finally got stability, he literally was just gone. They traded, I think they cut him. He signed with the Raiders. There was some talks that, maybe Marcus Mariota, could take, Derek Carr's job, but obviously that didn't end up happening. So if Marcus Mariota can take advantage of this, he can definitely elevate himself and be a starting caliber quarterback. Next, the Bengals have signed Landon Collins. As a Bengals fan, the whole weekend I was just so anxious, because I knew if we can get Collins onto the roster, the Bengals offensive line would have been set. The only thing that we would have had to go out and get was either a guard or center, because we signed Ted Krasson. Now, he's a versatile offensive lineman. He can play center or he can play guard. Now, what I'm assuming the Bengals are going to do is play him at center and then try to maybe re-sign Quentin Spain, or maybe they have enough faith in Jackson Carman and make him play guard. Now, Jackson Carman is a really solid offensive line. The thing with him is that I feel like he's comfortable more on the left side than the right side. So if Alex Kappa can move over to the right side and play the same way he did on the left side, and you could just swap them out, then the Bengals have one of the better O-lines in football. And Joe Burrow, if you look at that Super Bowl, on the last play, if you gave Joe Burrow that offensive line, he would have got the ball to Jamar Chase, because Jamar Chase had Jalen Ramsey beat. So the Bengals have 100% improved this offensive line. They really have no holes anywhere. All he need to really do is either find a center or a guard, a safety, and a defensive tackle, which they can either find in free agency, because Larry Obajobi he failed the physical. So he's still a free agent. So if the Bengals can bring him onto a cheap deal, all you need is a center or guard, depending on if Ted Craston is going to play center or guard, or a potential safety, because we still don't know the status of Jesse Bates. The Bengals should be right back in the Super Bowl or near the Super Bowl for the next decade. And also, they signed Hayden Hurst from Atlanta, who's one of the better tight ends in the league. That's definitely going to bolster up that offense. The Bengals are going to be one scary team once again. Joe Burrow should be leading the way in MVP talks right now. Now, there's a couple other players that I want to talk about. Chandler Jones going to the Raiders is huge for the Raiders. The Raiders seem like, the AFC West is competitive, okay? We need to make sure we load up at every single position to, compete in this division. You have Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Russell Wilson. You need to make a big splash in free agent to compete with those guys. I understand that he's 32, but he probably has 3 years left in him to really make an impact on that Raiders defense. And I would have tagged Yannick Ngakoue on the team rather than Chandler Jones, just because of the age difference. Yannick Ngakoue is about 4 to 5 years younger than Chandler Jones. The next player is Teron Armstead, who just signed a 5-year, $75 million contract. The Miami Dolphins are not playing around. They really, really want to compete in the AFC. Again, the AFC is a very tough division, so you have to get as much impactful players as you possibly can. Teron Armstead is one of the best, maybe a top 5 tackle in the league. He's definitely going to help that offensive line and help Tua have some time in the pocket, because Tua had no time in the pocket at all. So this is a huge signing for the Miami Dolphins. And the last guy I really wanted to talk about, who I think is one of the most underrated free agent signings, is Zadarius Smith going to the Minnesota Vikings on a 3-year, $42 million deal. Now, originally, he was intended to sign for the Baltimore Ravens on a 4-year deal. He backed out of that one and is now signing for the Vikings on a 3-year deal. The Vikings, again, that Vikings defense is going to be great this year. I can just feel it. You have Harrison Smith. You have one of the more better linebacker cores in the league. So that Vikings defense is really, really going to be great this year. And then obviously on the offense, you have Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins. We really don't know the status of him. He could be traded. He could not be traded. We really don't know when it comes to Kirk Cousins, but it looks like they might stay with him. But if I'm Minnesota, I'm definitely 100% looking at quarterbacks, because Kirk Cousins, as much as I like Kirk Cousins, he's not going to be the long-term answer, and he's not even the answer right now. Now, they do have Kellen Mond on the roster, which I love Kellen Mond coming out of college. So maybe they keep Kirk Cousins for another year and let Kellen Mond develop, because I really, really like Kellen Mond. I think he can be a franchise caliber quarterback. But that's all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn those post notifications on. And I'm out. Peace.
They doubted me, man, I just want to make it. I gotta keep going, I can't make time and waste it. Sometimes I want to quit, no. I just want to see my niggas come from a bad environment. Where the young niggas look up the old heads, commit cons and shit. No, I can't get my soul lift. Make them then buy my block. Then I'm gon' flip it all again. Told her bro they cool to live like us. They see some drugs and they gon' jump right out the guns. Man, I told all my little bros the streets ain't fun. A legend in this rap game. Man, I can die with none. Don't wanna go outside or watch my back, nigga. They still fuck 12, they just wanna go around and attack niggas. Man, I cut off the little hoes, they just distract niggas. Build up a stool up in my crib and just make tracks with it. You doubted me.